All right, this person says, I watched some documentaries called Thrive 1 and Thrive 2. In them, we meet inventors of various sustainable energy sources. Will some of these free energy sources be available soon, whatever they describe in Thrive 1 and Thrive 2? I don't know, Eric, maybe you didn't watch the movie yet.
Yes, so some of them will. It does feel again like I've not seen these. I don't know what these are, but like on a small scale, some of this stuff is already being used.
Yeah.
But the problem is like getting it to a large scale, like doing some of this stuff and running your house or running, having some of the energy for your house is there, but getting it onto a large scale is challenging.
That makes sense. Yeah. All right. Can you please ask about wave energy generation? We kind of did that, but also geothermal energy, sucking the heat out of the crust, out of the core or whatever, deep down.
Yeah. Are they working on this? Do you know? I don't know anything about this. Eric
I don't
says
know. I mean, I'm not saying you have to go to the core, but I know that
they're working on this, or something's going on with this.
I think there are actually people who have it in their homes who use geothermal or something. I don't know.
I was gonna say this feels like it's like
it's already there.
Is that
can you suck too much of the heat?
Yes. Yeah. This also, we have to be careful of this. I don't know why he is saying this, but on a huge scale, a massive scale with this, it will affect earthquakes in the
the
fault lines.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about.
Well, maybe you have to drill in certain areas and that, I don't know. Well, okay, so it ain't perfect.
No.
Okay. Please check out the Prairie Island nuclear power plant. The island sits in the middle of the Mississippi River. How far away is it safe to live near? And has there been radiation exposure from it in the past? So assess the Prairie Island nuclear power plant, Eric.
So how safe? I would want to be, at least 5 miles.
Okay.
Outside.
5 miles.
Yes. Yeah. Or more. I do feel from Erik that there's been some radiation in the past from it. I certainly wouldn't want to drink the water right around it.
Oh, no. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So, I don't feel a big concern about the radiation, but
mild.
Yes.
Mild. Okay. But not insignificant.
Correct.
Okay. Will anyone find the pulsar crystals in Atlantis that generated free energy? First of all, is that really true? In Atlantis, were there pulsar? That's kind of a way.
Yeah, this is extraterrestrial technology that is not there right now.
Oh, they took them away?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Where did they
you know what? I will say taken away is not quite right. They've cloaked them or hidden them.
Okay.
They're still there. Erik says they're still there, but we can't find them right now.
Oh, okay. Where's the origin of these pulsar crystals? Another planet?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. And they are in the water, or like in the
ocean
bottom.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Will we ever find them?
When the time is right, he said.
Okay. Are we still going to use the nuclear power of fossil fuels? Or do we have a whole new set of energy generators in the near future?
No, not in the near future. We're still going to be using the fossil fuels and the nuclear power in the near future. Okay. I would even say, based on what Erik's saying, even 50 years from now, we'll still be using it.
Oh yeah. Well, we got plenty, really. Hello, sweet team. Having seen in several YouTubes UFOs diving in volcanoes. Don't do this at home. And into the sun. Could our future energy be coming from the core of our Earth?
So some of it, yes. Some of it could be coming from the core of the Earth. As far as all of it replacing everything, still I get a no for that. But yes, some of it could be coming from the core.
Okay.
I hadn't heard about the UFOs diving into the volcanoes. That's cool.
Oh wow, I wouldn't. Oh wow, that is cool. How do they do that? Jesus. All right. Well, or will it come from a completely new way from aliens? So will our infinite energy come from aliens?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it will.
All right, please ask him about designer magnetic, capital D, capital M, for power and human pain control. I don't know anything about that. Do you? Never heard of it. Eric, do you?
No, so I don't necessarily resonate with like power running the world on it, but as far as the pain and more medical aspects is where
Where
I'm,
value is?
yes, where the value is, where I'm drawn to much more.
Okay. All right.
Uh,
Is nuclear, oh, go ahead. You need to say anything else?
So they must already be doing something with this as far as health, the medical field.
Okay. Interesting. I have to look that up. Is nuclear power generation really the technology that humanity should invest even more in, and thus the core solution to becoming carbon neutral?
So
Oh, well, I should finish the sentence, maybe that's important to know now. Or should humanity focus on developing another technology like wind, solar, and maybe something else?
so we should continue with all of these areas.
Okay.
All
Should
of these
we look
areas should
more?
continue to have, yes, more investing, more research, more stuff. The growth as far as the nuclear power plants.
Okay.
Erik is saying it's not going to be like all of a sudden there's going to be a bunch more nuclear power plants. It's not going to work like that.
Okay.
But we're going to continue to research and invest, in that field. But solar and wind feel like it can be more growth there
Okay.
than as far as like all of a sudden there's going to be more nuclear power plants everywhere. He said that's not really, they must be very, very expensive,
Oh,
or very, very complicated
oh,
to,
yeah.
to do more so than solar and wind.
Okay. So in other words, we probably are not going to shift more, increase the momentum toward nuclear.
Correct. Yeah, not, not a bunch. Maybe
Not
there's
big,
going
large
to be
scale.
more plants. Yeah, no, but not huge
Okay.
amounts. No, but
All right.
using the ones we already have and working with that, yes, but not building a bunch of new ones.
Okay.
No.
Oh, this is we sort of touched on this already, but when and where will the next nuclear catastrophe like Chernobyl be? When and where? Of course, there's free will, but
Yeah. So now I am drawn over towards like Asia.
okay. Right.
Um,
In the next
potentially.
5 years, 10 years, 3 years.
Within the next 10.
Okay.
What Erik is saying is that there must be some place over there that needs upgrades.
Okay. Oh,
Okay, so with the equipment and looking, and if we don't do it,
then
there
it's
could be
gonna
a
be
problem.
so that's the
Yes.
free will,
Yes.
part right there. All right. Next, I read that if the country's power grid were to go down, the solar energy would also be useless. True or false? Well, probably in the delivery of to the wires on.
Yeah, it definitely affects the solar. It would affect it. It wouldn't be useless necessarily, but they must correlate with each other because it does affect it.
Okay. I read that solar power cells are not environmentally friendly when it comes to replace and dispose of them. Is that true?
They are not. That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say no free lunch here.
Same with the wind turbines. There's a problem with those too, as far as the disposal. Yeah, that's what Erik was talking about earlier. It's like, yes, it's great in one aspect, but then there's a problem in another.
Okay. Yeah. But I don't know. Obviously the wind, the energy must be stored in like a battery or something, or
Yes, and I think that something happens with the, like, as far as when those things actually break and they need to be replaced.
oh,
I think there's an issue as far as like what you do with them. They're huge. They're
they're
huge.
giant. I've seen them, the blades on the back
Yes.
of big old 18-wheelers. Yeah. Is it true that there are super fast magnetic transports in tunnels underground that the elite and military already use? They supposedly take minutes to get places versus hours.
There is something to that.
Hmm.
Erik is talking more about military. This is
Okay.
extraterrestrial technology,
Okay.
not necessarily the elite. but military, there's
Seems
something,
right. Yeah.
there's something there. Extraterrestrial military
Did
connection.
the military find these, or were they developed in conjunction with
Yeah, they were given them, or yes.
the technology?
There's so much that goes on underground on this planet.
Oh my God, I know. I've been
Yes.
watching the Gaia channel. It's just crazy.
Yes.
Some of the things that are down there that when will this kind of technology be available to the public?
So right now, as it sits, Erik says it won't. Right now, that might change, but he said it won't.
Okay. This would be exceptionally alternative, but is quartz or crystal energy a viable option for powering anything?
It is.
Are we talking about the pulsar crystal, maybe?
So it would have to be in conjunction. Well, they're already using it in conjunction with other stuff for power. But yes, it's not like on its own. It would not be on its own. It has to be in conjunction with something else to maybe extend, he's saying, to extend
Yeah.
the other
as
resources.
extensions of other like extensions of solar, extensions of okay, interesting. I would love to know when the nuclear waste will be cleaned up. At the moment, nuclear waste is buried deep underground, and this person's also wanting to know if that affects any beings living in the inner earth. But two-part question: when will it be
When
cleaned
will it
up?
be cleaned up?
In the next 10 years, 100 years?
I get more like 25, but
Okay.
not fully cleaned up. Not
No.
so in the next 25 years, we may have better ways of cleaning it faster, but we're still going to be creating more, is what
Oh
Erik
yeah,
is saying.
right. Well, maybe it's when you find the way to convert the waste into something usable. Maybe that's when that's going to happen.
Yes. Sorry, Erik was just teasing me. I have to just, as I just started smiling. So when I do readings, I play with my cards and stuff. I don't read cards, but when I do this, I try not to. And he's like, your hands are all over the place. That's why I play with the cards. And he was just laughing at me. He's like,
I haven't even
all
noticed.
over.
I haven't even noticed. That's funny. All right. So the nuclear waste buried deep underground, does it affect any beings that live in the inner earth?
No, not negatively, because so basically what Erik is saying is that they're, because of where they live, and it was always known that there was going to be the nuclear waste in there, they're resilient to that. Okay, so their environment was always to withstand that sort of before we started, kind of polluting the earth. It was always going to be this way. So those beings were not going to be adversely affected.
Okay. Are those beings extraterrestrials? Some of whom maybe escaped some of the cataclysms we've had.
Yeah. So it's definitely not human.
Okay.
Like, it's not like we're not on the other side incarnating to a human life being in there.
Right.
We humans don't have the resilience to live there. So yes, it would be extraterrestrial.
Okay. Will the nuclear reactor in Ukraine have a radiation leak as the result of the war?
So this particular one, now, is this as a result of the war? Perhaps feels more vulnerable to hacking.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, is it because of the war and because of everything that's going on? Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to, this is a long paragraph here. Let me just read the lead up to the question. Galen Winsor was a nuclear physicist of renown who worked at and helped design nuclear power plants in Hanford, Washington, Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Morris, Illinois, San Jose, California, and Wilmington, New Jersey. Among his positions of expertise, he was in charge of measuring and controlling the nuclear fuel inventory and storage. Galen surmises the regulations and fear-mongering that surround radioactive materials are in place to prevent the widespread adoption of nuclear power in local small-scale neighborhoods of home-based reactors. Galen also points out that hot nuclear waste can be effectively turned into safe power sources through thermionic conversion. Okay, that's maybe which is how the U.S. Submarine navigation network was powered. The heat it gives off can be used to safely heat homes too. Now that he's crossed over, does he think the same way that this is true, that about waste and about the fear mongering about radioactive materials?
So actually, Erik went and got him.
Oh, hello, Dr.
So what he says is, oh, I got goosebumps. There is still some viability to his theories,
Okay.
but there would be problems, like as far as having these small nuclear plants in neighborhoods and stuff. There is still dangers. There is still some dangers. So it's not a perfectly, his theory wouldn't be perfectly right.
Okay.
There is something to it. We don't have the infrastructure for it now, but there are dangers. He's saying, like, when he was here, it was like, for him, his mindset was like the risk, the benefits outweigh the risk. The benefits outweigh the risks.
But now you don't think they do?
Well, not in the way that he thought.
Okay.
Not in the way that he thought. There would still be risks. And it again feels like if you're living right there, right around, there could still be some problems as far as exposure to radiation, increasing in cancers, this sort of
Seems like
thing.
there would be a way to contain that, shield it. No?
Yes. So here's what he's saying. Unfortunately, with stuff like this, with people and power and money, we hide things that maybe if they're not doing right, it's like, oh, no, this is good, this is fine, but they're hiding it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like toxic runoff into the waters.
Oh yeah.
And so there's still that risk that things wouldn't be done exactly right, and that people would just be being told one thing when really there's still
Yes. They wouldn't want to build an expensive, the most, shield that might be too expensive. They'll do it cheap, cheapest way to shield us from radiation.
Yes. And actually, this is where the biggest problems would be coming from, is cutting corners, lying about what's actually the dangers of it, this sort of thing. We're not ready for this yet.
All about the profit margin.
Yep.
Well, what do you think about the thermionic conversion to heat homes?
Yeah, there is definitely still something to that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. There is.
So
there is something there.
So what do you think then, Dr. Winsor, about plutonium and uranium waste? First of all, what you're saying is it can be converted.
Yes.
To something that is safe and usable, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And people are working on that. Like, this has got to be something that people already know, or they're already working on it, or they're doing something with it. Yes, this is still true.
Thermo-ionic conversion. That's another thing I have to look up. I'm gonna be a nuclear physicist before the end of the day.
Yes.
My degree, my PhD in nuclear physics.
He's also saying that there's people working on extending the resources. There is stuff going on to extend the resource of uranium and make it last longer. And yes, so there is all kinds of stuff being done in that regard.
Well, that's good. So what is your message from the afterlife to humanity concerning solutions for generating energy?
Just honestly, what he says is just keep using what you guys have. Sorry, I know some people aren't gonna want to hear that. You got to use what you have. You have to use what you have.
The plants. I wonder if anybody's really looked at how plants store solar energy, and if that can be an practical.
Yeah, he says people are looking at that. That's going to fall into one of those areas that maybe people don't want to look at right now or pay attention to, because it's clean and effective
and works for plants. But yeah, I mean, I remember in biology, this little stacks of, and I can't remember a really cool name for them, stackylo, blah, blah, I don't know. Anyway, any last spirit? Thank you, Dr. Winsor. Any from Erik, any other views from the spirit's perspective of humanity and their need for and sources for energy
So
or messages?
really, to with what Dr. Windsor was saying, we should really be using everything at our disposal.
Right.
Okay, so like if you're somebody out there who's creative and you can get your house to run on corn, stuff, keep
Yeah.
keep doing this, keep exploring this kind of stuff. The plant stuff, keep doing this sort of thing, because there is so many more sources of power out there,
Yeah.
but it might be on smaller scales. It might just be like,
Yeah.
this
Micro
one.
scales.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Rather than macro, I guess.
Yeah.
And we need to be looking more at the micro stuff.
Yeah. Like I think the Crawford Ranch, Bush's ranch runs on has this geothermal thing. He has a very low carbon footprint for his
Mhm.
ranch.
Yes.
Opposite of Al Gore, who has a very high.
Hi. Yeah.
for that.
And so like the solar power, you have solar panels on your house. I live in Florida. There's solar panels all over. And so like you're harnessing the sun's energy. You still have power to your house, but you're harnessing, so
Yeah.
you're using less. Like we need more of that kind of stuff where, yeah, maybe you still have electricity from the power company, but we need to be doing more of that stuff to help.
Okay. That sounds good.
Mhm.
All right, Erik, thank you so much for this. This is fascinating. I got a lot of researching to do.
Yes.
But yeah, and thank you, Jennifer. You guys look how amazing she is, right? Psychic medium, JenniferDoran.com. Thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Windsor, for joining in too. You
Yes.
guys subscribe to this channel, hit the notification button, and share with your fellow nuclear physicist wannabes. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Love you.
Love you.